Google Meet gets on my nerves, like,
Yeah. You just have to say that and it starts recording.
and then it gets started. Perfect. Cool. I'll present my screen and share a quick context presentation before we move. I hope everyone can see my screen. And here we go. Welcome everyone to Motion as a Design Language webinar by Friends of Figma Mumbai and LottieFiles. Thank you for joining in. I know it's Wednesday, it's in the middle of the week, and I'm sure it would have been a hectic day, but you still took out time to join us after your work hours. So really, really appreciate you for that. And we'll make sure and we'll try our best to make sure this time is worth it. In case you don't know, I'm Suraj Nair. I'm the community lead at Friends of Figma Mumbai. I'm also the lead product designer at BrowserStack. And FOF Mumbai is the official Mumbai chapter for Figma. There's 250 plus regional Friends of Figmas worldwide, so it's a global community. And India alone is one of the densest chapters. We have 24 chapters in India alone. That's great to see. And FOF Mumbai has been doing events since 2023. I think a lot of folks from these photos are in the attendee list, and I'm very happy to see some familiar names. But yeah, the journey started in 2023. We have been consistently doing events very frequently. These are glimpses from some of the events we have done so far. And yeah, this year we have done, I think, two in-person events. One was the new experimental series that we started, which is TouchGrass. We felt that designers have been spending too much time in front of laptops, a screen, talking about AI. We decided, okay, it's enough. We should go and actually touch grass. So we actually held a small picnic of around 30 to 35 people near the sea, and we didn't talk anything about design. It was just connecting over life. So this was a really good break. And 2 months later, I think last month, we did something called Meet Jam 5. This time it was in Bandra. And this has been one of the most requested venues for this series. And this time we went heavy on AI and design, and we discussed topics that usually doesn't get talked about in events. Like we talk about losing the human touch, what AI is doing to us, things like feeling burnout or feeling, a sense of overwhelm because there's too much happening in the world of AI. So usually topics that they are not discussed. I think it was very nice to see people openly talk about things that they had in their minds. But yeah, FI Mumbai is also the world's largest Figma design community. We have 5,500 plus registered designers. Yeah, I mean, as a fun fact, I was actually looking at the deck when we collaborated last time. At that point, we were at 3.5, and I was making this deck. I was like, okay, I can see a huge difference. So time has really, really flown. We have designers from top orbs from Mumbai and India and the world, and we usually see them at events like these. So if you want to be part of this journey, you can quickly take a photo of this slide. You can scan and become a member at ffmumbai.com. It's completely free. You can just get updates whenever awesome events like these happen. And if you want to stay updated, you can also follow us on all socials. That's the QR on the right. We are most active on Instagram, and if you want to see what all events are happening, we are announcing a few interesting things soon, so you can follow us there. But enough about FOF. Time to talk a bit about you, because you're centerpiece of this event. So I just crunched some numbers. I'm not great at numbers, but Claude is really good at numbers. So I just crunched a bit of data, and we always do this whenever we do a webinar. We'll talk about people in the room. So 76%, like you must be thinking, why do I ask so many questions in the registration form? It's for this. 76% of people in this room identify themselves as designers in some way or form, mostly UI, UX, product, visuals. 58% people are from Mumbai, and 66% is the wider MMR region, which includes Thane, Mumbai, and all other places. There's a very good representation from countries apart from India, which is 7.4%. 14% of people who registered were students, which is a great thing to see, seeing people curious about motion design. And India alone, 24 cities have been represented. But if you want to go a bit deeper into the numbers, you can see this is the actual split. UI UX product designers are at the top, mostly represented people, but we also have people who are founders, directors. There are some motion designers, so shout out to them since they are here. There are also developers, PMs, researchers, folks from marketing who have also joined in. So if you're there, hello. But apart from this, talking about representation in terms of the place, I think India, of course, most people have joined us from India, but there are also folks who registered from these countries, which is very nice to see, which kind of denotes again FOF is a global community. But yeah, if you are from one of these cities, you can definitely send a hi. At the same time, if you're not from these cities, just DM, uh, just put in the chat wherever you're joining from. I think, Yamin, you are the only one from Malaysia, so I think that's you. So yeah,
I was just like, okay, who else is like, awake at 11 p.m. to listen to me? So it's like, yeah, really excited.
great. Keep the chat active, folks. Do ping where you are joining from. If you want to introduce yourself, you can definitely do so. But yeah, back to the slides. LottieFiles has been always a very close partner for Friends of Figma Mumbai, and Yamin and we are collaborating for the third time for a webinar like this. And LottieFiles has also been very kind to partner and sponsor our events before. So we always had a great bond, and I'm very happy that we are collaborating again. And yes, it's a bit late for Yamin, but I'm happy he is here. So over to you, Yamin.
No, I mean, if you guys keep putting in questions in the chat, I think that'll keep me awake because then I'll have to wake up and answer every one of them. But yeah. Hi guys, Yamin here. So today's gonna be a little bit different. I know we always come on a call and then we make you guys animate. Today I'm not gonna make you guys animate. I'm just gonna showcase to you some of the stuff that we have seen in the past 2 years. But just before that, um, I was just showing this to Suraj as well, just coming out. So if you are into AI, I had AI mentioned a couple of times. So if you are familiar with our Lottie creator, we actually speak MCP now. So you can just go here, top left, settings, enable MCP, and MCP is connected. I can just go here and I can just say, hey, create me a bookmark animation on Lottie creator. Yeah. And then it would analyze everything. It would start creating that animation. And yeah, but I'm going to spend too much time on this. It might take some time for the get the API docs and everything and kind of do everything. But yeah, if you are interested, I'll keep this running in the background. So after we're done, let's hope that it's actually starting building everything again. All right, cool. I'll start. I'll do my presentation after I'm done. We'll see the result it has. If it's ugly, I'm really sorry, but it's AI. So, anyways, coming back to this, let me reshare my screen. All right, there we go. All right, so today I'm actually, like I said, I'm actually not here to demo a lot of stuff. I'm actually here to talk about like some observations that we have seen over the past 1 year. Couple of things from our side. So the talk today is about like how motion is kind of now becoming a little bit more. So we always talk about how first when we came in, we talked about creating animation, how the file size was small, and then we talked about how like the words kind of become more interactive. But something that we've seen in the past years a little bit different in how motion is now not just becoming that thing that you create which you systemize. It's becoming something a little bit more, and a lot of companies are now incorporating it into design language. And I'm here to kind of share with you guys a little bit of a learning that we have seen across the past 1 year on how motion is now becoming a little bit more systemized compared to what it was a few years back. So Couple of things. So I think last time when we talked to you guys, I think we were at, I don't know if it's 14 million, 15 million, but we're just reached 16 million users globally. Of course, we have 200,000 plus companies working with us. And what we're learning from these different things is that we're getting a lot of these different experiences for different other people coming in. And what we're realizing is that motion is becoming an entire different journey. And what we're learning is that the biggest, best successful companies today are actually companies who are systemizing animation. And these are like a couple of examples that we have. So if you look at these numbers here, these are like companies that we have seen as like all these things that they're doing. Of course, Zomato, they actually not only had a 70% file reduction, they actually had 14.7, I think, million impressions just by systemized animations and making their workflow better. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today as well. Canva is doing pretty amazing as well. CNN actually used animation. They systemized how they brought the entire thing using LottieFiles, and they actually made sure that people use their sessions 2.5% even longer. But if you guys want to check it out, you can go to lottifiles.com/case studies, and I'm going to show you guys a little bit on why this is happening, what's the trend today, and what's actually what you should expect if you're if you're a student today, what you should expect when you go out, and if you're engaging with motion, if you're engaging with product, what are things that you should actually expect in the next couple of years and couple of months. So today's agenda is very simple. So we're gonna learn first, like why motion matters. We're gonna talk about a little bit on motion as a system, how you can actually treat it today, and why teams are actually going towards that. There gonna be a little bit of a build. I was kind of kidding. It'll be gonna be a little bit of a build, just to get you guys through a couple of tools that we've kind of released for Figma. And then I'm just gonna show you guys how you can ship it out as well. But more or less, it's gonna be more about how you systemize animation. So every company we talk to today, they will always ask this question. Like every inquiry that I have to sit down with the like JP Morgan's, Morgan Stanley, big financial companies, Duolingo, and all these big companies is this question. Like I want to use motion, but how do I get started? How do I define it? And what's the ROI? How do I justify it? I can't just go and tell my boss that I want to use an animation. It's labor intensive, hard to justify. How do we scale it? And what we learned is that the biggest friction in this entire thing is that we're not able to justify a cost of putting an animation out there because you don't know what's the ROI, you don't know how to measure it. And the biggest problem behind this is, of course, you are actually not systemizing the entire process into making it into part of your design language. Now, we know that design language is about uniformity. You're bringing uniform things. You make sure everything looks cool. You know how everything looks cool together. You have a definition of everything. You have a system with everything on how design is actually brought in to your audience through different mediums. Now, in motion, we also have something very similar. So you have like you make motion functional. You make it uniform. Today, it's not about just having it being decorative. You have to make sure that everything, not only that everything confirms what what's something happening. You don't really provide the clarity, continuity. It has to be a little bit more functional and uniform. And this is what we're seeing as trends today. So the question that comes up, and this is what was very interesting for us. So we, as LottieFiles, we're famous for just throwing different tools out there. And then trying to figure out what people are actually using them. And for the past 1 year, we've been observing every single tool that people, especially our customers and users, have been using. And what we're looking into is what we're seeing is how these professionals today are actually justifying different things that we're releasing as a way to use motion for scale and justify why they actually are going to be using motion and why the company itself, like how they actually convince their teams that they need to actually invest in motion. So first thing first, this is what we kind of figured out. We realized that they've started systemizing how they create animations. Now, if you look at here, right, this animation here, this actually has interactive components, as you can see. But not only that, this also has tokens. If you want to learn how this kind of translates to Figma, it's like variables. So what we're seeing today is that animation itself that goes out there are actually made of these two things. And this is how they're actually systemizing the creation side, and which actually helps enable you to go from the systematic creation all the way up to systemizing your entire thing. And this also connects to your design system as well. And let me kind of show you a little bit on that today. So pretty much what happens today is, and I'm pretty sure if you're already into design systems, is something that you already know. Um, what if I tell you that you are already designing states? So if you want to translate the language that you have with Figma like design systems, these are things that you are already doing right now. You're already designing states, you're already designing variants of it, and then you are kind of building all these different blocks which are required to kind of systemize everything. Now, what if, like from a motion perspective, when we look at it, you're already building a rule book where each variant appears. You're building a rule book on how you move from one to the next. And this entire thing can also be translated into a motion rule book of how things should operate. Now, for example, your Figma component variants would have a default state, like disable the button, hover, press, disable. And this entire thing is how experts today are actually building motion as well. And they translate this into something which can be useful. And we're going to show this a little bit today on how they're doing that using our tools. So the other thing that you are also doing today is, of course, variables. You already defined this in your design system. You have colors defined, you have different types defined, like different headings, bold, features, everything. There's actually not scale, that's actually rotate, but these things are things that you can already now define. Now, one thing that we allow in addition to having simple features is you can also tokenize this. And what we kind of come up with is a rule book, what we call properties, like which tokenization, which enables you to define which properties on your animation should change during runtime. So now you can have that system of design system that you have, and now you're kind of getting that to be translated into motion. And we're going to go through this a little bit today as well. And I'm going to show you guys how it works on LottieFiles and how you can actually take it from a creation side and systemize it and take it to the next level. So this is pretty much what happens, right? So what professionals are doing today is they have the what and the why. They're using tokens to tell you what. So basically what changes in the animation. Pretty much systemizing the creation side. How you can change the color, text, position, different other things. And when is what they're now defining in this creation side on what should change based on different inputs, different interactions, and which kind of defines a rule book of interactivity. And then you define the rule book of what should change. And this is what they are using to kind of systemize everything. And so in order for them to when they kind of do that, it's easier for them to kind of understand different inputs come in and what are the changes that happen. Easy to do A/B testing. And this is how they're actually doing the systemization. So in the end, the systemization kind of allows it to become a shared language between designers and developers. So in case of designers, we're talking about tokens. And I'll show you a little bit on what you can do themes as well, which is like a preset collection of different tokens mixed together. And then this kind of becomes the developer language where you kind of connect tokens and themes to different data points, and this kind of can be run with runtime data, and you can make magic happen with motion tokens. And of course, in terms of interactivity, you can define states, you can define transitions and inputs and interactions, and this defines the what of how the entire animation should actually operate. So coming back to this, so if you look at how you define states, right, in Figma, we went through this a little bit last time, how you can actually build state machines. So what we're noticing is this entire information was something was missing from the last presentation that we did. So on the left, as you can see, this is how on Figma you would define a button component. You probably define a default state, hover state, loading state, success, and error. Now, LottieFiles, we kind of translate that now into a animation where you define different segments of the animation as states, and then you define what causes in transition from one to the other. So in a nutshell, this would be how different examples would look like. Let's say you do a definition of, like, say, for example, the user click submit. You define what is the transition, and then you define what it should go from one to the other. Same with example two as well. Now in tokens, all if you look into tokens and states together, this would how it would look like. You have defined color codes and then token swap based on different interactions, different things that you want to do. So imagine like you have an animation. Oh, smart. Yeah. Good point, Suraj. But so if you think about this anyway, right? And good, the thing about smart animated, we have something for smart animated. I'm going to show you a little bit later. But um, and back to this. Now, imagine you are building something for scale. You have a box which you need to deliver, and then you need to kind of have it in 10 different places for 10 different occasions. Of course, you're not gonna build, like today, professionals, they don't build 10 animation. They build one animation which has different properties which can be swapped, and then just define how it should actually react. And I'm gonna build this with you guys today. If you guys are up for it, you can follow me step by step. I'm gonna share a Figma file a little bit later as well, and we can actually start building this together. So just a little bit. These are like some examples that we have when we kind of mix everything together. These are things that you can actually start building. So it's all systemized with tokens, and it's systemized with states. And when you kind of combine everything together, there's so much more that could be actually achieved. So enough of me talking. Let's actually get down to business. I'll share a Figma file. Feel free to come in. If you again, since it's a LottieFiles workshop, we always do this. We ask you to come on a Figma file and work with us. So there we go. And again, feel free to have fun with it. You can ask questions later. So first thing first, I do have two different files here. Again, feel free to steal anything. So one feature that we have recently added, and I'm going to just talk about this feature before I go into the next step, is that previously, and I'm so glad you brought up smart animate. So previously, what would actually happen is you would have an animation. Let me just grab some stuff here. I'll build this very quickly for you guys. Yeah, let me just remove this. I don't know who that was, but yeah, there we go. So let me just grab this cloud. So previously, you were able to like build an animation and then just render it. So if you have done our course, if you're part of our previous Figma event with Figma Mumbai, you would know that you can actually create an animation using smart animated Lottie files. So all I gotta do is, of course, change the color a little bit here. And again, don't worry about the if you wanna learn how to animate using Lottie files and Figma, I left a link up here. So, but don't worry about that. So previously, what you should be able to do is you can make this, and using smart animate prototyping, I can connect both, and then I can just add smart animate, ease in, ease out, and then I will be able to actually create a animation, right? And what we'll notice, all right, there we go, flow 6. So I can just, oh, there we go, sorry. So I can just easily create an animation just like that, using the smart animate function. But what we've noticed is that a lot of you guys love to use, like like Suraj, you guys love to use the smart animate function to build prototypes. And then the biggest complaint we always have is I'm building my prototype on Figma, I'm building my animation on Figma. So how do I translate that exact thing as a state machine? Because definitely I'm already defining states and doing that. So today, something that you can actually do is, let's say, so previously you would connect it frame by frame. So Today, what I can actually do is I can just connect this to prototype, connect this, and connect it to the frame. And let's just say this is an ease in. Let's make this 500 and connect it back. Ease in. And now what I can actually do is, sorry, prototype. And now you actually have a state machine done inside Figma. And what this allows you to do is you can, I already have an animation here as well. Is let's say you have prototype already done and you want to, really like what you build. Let's say you're working in a smaller team, you're the expert designer and you don't really want to bring any motion designers, but you love what you can do with smart animate function. So what you can actually do is you can create an animation and you can actually make a entire animation just on Figma without actually using a motion designer. And those smart animate function that you built today on Figma can actually now be translated. Let's say you want to define the transitions and everything can be translated into an animation which you can actually use for your products using Figma. If you want to do a little bit step by step, I think we have some time, so let's do a little bit step by step. If you guys want to try it out step by step, let's actually build a toggle button which animates. We're gonna do step by step. If you guys want to follow, we're gonna build this together, and I'm gonna add a couple more features so that right now, if you look at it, the thing that happens is, of course, is this going from left to right. So let's also add a little bit more animation. If you want to follow me step by step, feel free. I'm gonna start something new here. So of course, I'm gonna add the sun into this. All right, there we go. So again, one advantage you have with this is, let's say you are the product designer, and then you want to define everything before you send it to a motion designer. Now what you can do is you can build this here, and then after you're done, let's say you want to do some improvements, you can send it to the motion designer who's just After Effects or Lottie Creator, and they can actually make changes as well. And I'm going to show Lottie Creator a little bit later after this. So let's do this. I'm going to add a bit of clouds again. Oops, let me go for design. There we go. Add this, add one more cloud. And of course, I'm going to duplicate this frame. Move this like this. Copy this frame. There we go. Oop, sorry. There we go. And now I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove the background color for this. Connect, prototype, back to this. Let me just add in maybe. So one cool thing you can actually do is you can add after delay. So previously after delay would just go from left to right. Now there's a different function to it. So what I can actually do is, let's say I'm going to add after delay 1, and I'm going to add maybe a linear here, and I'm going to add maybe 100. Connect this again. After delay 1 linear here. And then let me add maybe a flow starting point, flow 7. So what you can actually notice is that if you click animate right now, flow 7, yeah, there we go. So a little bit of animation you can kind of build up. Now you get the idea. You can actually build like these segments one by one. Of course, there's no interaction with it. There's no click interaction, no hover. So there is nothing else to it right now. So if I want to connect this to something like this, I can maybe just copy this frame, add one more. And we just hold everything, bring them here. Cloud. There we go. Change the color. Click the glow. Let's make it Please don't judge my color choices. I am very sleepy as well, but all good. So I'm a little bit colorblind because I hope I'm seeing my blues the way I think it is. But yeah. All right. Thanks for the coffee. Uh, okay. Let me also grab these stars here as well. Let me add these stars in. Okay. So I'm gonna do one more thing. I'm gonna copy this back there, and then I'm gonna use the one on the bottom as a mask, and then copy this, add this in as well, move it. So I'm gonna add one more thing. I'm gonna add some stars. I think it needs some stars. Otherwise, it doesn't really make sense. So click this star here. So by the way, we now support layer blend. So if you're creating animations with layer blends, um, you're lucky. There's a lot of different stuff they're actually supporting. Layer blends and blurs are now being supported. Now, of course, I can't have this during daytime. Let me just move this up. Copy. We paste it. All right, there we go. Paste. Here, bring them in. Add one more here, and I'm gonna animate this. Start here, start here, start here, maybe start here. Might look weird, but should be okay. Up paste the other frame. All right, so this is where the magic happens, right? So you have this, that have the animation here, the tingle. Let's grab the sun here, connect here, and then put on click. Put in like a let's put in a bouncy. All right, and then this would need to be an after delay, linear, maybe 100, 300. Connect again, after delay, 1. Pick the moon, connect it back all the way to the front. Maybe let's put in a bit of a bouncy here as well. So I've never used, oh, sorry, give me a sec. So I've actually never used bouncy. So this is gonna be a test to see if it actually works. There we go, flow 7. All right, click it. Yeah, there you go. So step by step, if you have a design system or things defined in your system, you can actually now use this, build this entire thing up, and then you can share this with your devs. So yeah, now you have a probably build your first. If you've been following me, you build your first state machine on Figma, and you can actually now export this out. Now, of course, this is not part of my presentation. I thought it would be really cool just to show you guys this. So let's actually move on. So imagine you're converting all of this, your entire design language into a motion system, right? So come back to this. Now, let's say this is my very ugly design system, just for this demo. I want to create a simple loading screen. Let's say I have a delivery cart. The question in chat, yes, we do support shadows, but drop shadows, not the other type of shadows. Just drop shadows, no internal shadows yet. So yeah, coming back to this. So for this one, so let's say I want to build this, right? So let's say I'm part of like a delivery business, and I have a loading screen, right? And the thing that I've noticed, like doing my A/B testing, of course, with different system that I'm kind of pulling in, is that I'm not getting a lot of people on the loading screen. Like they don't know they they don't know what's going on. They're not sticking it around for the loading screen. Hypothetically, I know it's a very bad example, but let's just say they're not sticking with the loading screen, and you want to make it a little bit more festive, and you don't want to use 100 different animations. You just want to have one animation loading in that, which can be changed based on different occasions, right? So of course, in my system, with my team, so I build this. So I have like a normal everyday animation which I want to roll out, Chinese New Year animation colors which I want to roll out, and of course a Christmas setting I want to roll out. So in this case, I've already kind of defined the colors here. And now I want to do is I want to kind of convert this into, like say, an animation which can be used in multiple places with multiple settings, and which can be built for scale. So of course, if I already have this, let's say I'm a product designer, I've already defined like how you should transition and everything. So I can just render the animation. It's already done. Yep. And then so you can export this into Lottie Creator, start building, but just for this exercise, I just want to show you guys how the entire system looks like. I'm just gonna export it out as a normal playback animation and add the stuff in Lottie Creator. So here we have this animation. Now I'm just gonna click this button, and it would actually open up on Lottie Creator, which I can actually start now editing the animation. Now, if you're wondering, like let's say your team does not want to use Lottie Creator, but you want to use After Effects, you can actually save it to your workspace, and you can just do something similar like this. You can actually do on After Effects as well. We have some features coming up which kind of help the entire workflow, but if you're like if you want to like use something which is Lottie specific, which would you don't have to fight for your rendering and anything after you're done, I would suggest using Lottie Creator. No advertisement there, but yeah, it's gonna be fun. So once you're done with animation, you can just edit with the file, open on Lottie Creator, and this is where, as a product designer, you can actually start systemizing the components that you actually want to build for scale. Now, first thing first, we have an empty box, as you can see. Box comes in, whoops, unplug up, and there we go, right? So now let's actually start defining the components of this entire animation. So I actually have here like a side of the box. So one thing that you can actually do with Lottie Creator is you can actually tokenize your entire animation. Now this doesn't only mean colors, it can be done for position, scale, and multiple other things as well. But in this case, let's just start tokenizing stuff because we want to build, we want to have three variants of it, which is normal, CNY, and Christmas. So let me actually just grab the color. So I don't have my variables defined here yet, but I'm just going to copy this. For now, I'm just going to add this in. So I'm going to create a token. Let's call this box outer layer. Save. All right. And then let me tokenize this as well. Let me just call this box outer, maybe outer right, outer left, maybe. Let's call this box top. So now what you can actually see is so this layer, so this is a different layer, but same color. I can just add this in. And now I can actually start controlling and start making different themes for this one single animation. So let's call this CNY. Now for box outer, add that red in. Let me just go back. So one thing cool is if you already kind of have all these defined, this is easy. Can just add, again, sorry that I didn't define the variables, but yeah, you get the idea. So I can just grab these colors and add this in. Pretty soon we'll have a way you can bring in your variables from Figma directly into Lottie Creator. But for now, you can actually just grab those color tones and add this in. We do have a feature which is coming in pretty soon called motion systems. So it would allow you to define everything, and then you can open your motion systems, add those colors in without like using Figma as a reference. But if that's something, once it comes out, I'll come here again and I'll probably have I'll call with you guys to show this off as well. So let's add this one more, which is called package. And maybe I'll put this as yellow, define this as package as well. One more thing, I think, yeah, just for these labels, let's actually call this as token label. Add this as label as well. apply token, label, label. I think this is one more here. Yeah. Apply token, label. So it's label. And then let me just change this label color to maybe white. All right, there we go. So now what would actually happen is if you're like, again, if you're playing with this animation, oops, sorry. Let me also add these colors here as well. Outer layer. Let's call this layer. Maybe the different colors. Um, this might be a little bit different. So let me call this box top two. I'm sorry for the bad naming conventions, but yeah, we'll let the developer figure that one out. All right, color. And let me call this as well. Let's box top two. So now what actually happens is you have an entire animation. You can actually start building different themes for this. And these themes would carry out like every time that you want to have different, like, like I say, you want to change the color based on Christmas, based on any festive holidays that comes up. Just come up here. And then all you have to do is just change the theme, and then the theme color would be carried forward to every single animation. Oh, there's a question. You can put in the chat. Happy to answer. Yep. Yeah. And let's say this is just for colors. Let's say you want to have like multiple things inside the box, for example. One feature that we already have is you can actually grab one of this, and I can just press, let's say here. Let me just say I want to put some, festive oranges for Chinese New Year. I can copy as an SVG, go back, and let me just add this in, and there you go. So I actually have these oranges added into the animation. So in addition to colors, right? Let me just also parent this as well for now. I'll parent this with box left, right? Yeah, there we go. So in addition to colors, something that you can also do is you can also work with different things like opacity as well. So let's say I'm building this with opacity, and let's say I want to use this camera set as my normal animation, right? I can just copy as SVG. There we go. Come back here, paste it. Let me just parent this one as well to this one. So now, of course, I have equipments with oranges, which of course I don't want to have for Chinese New Year. So one thing I can actually do is I can go here, click this, tokenize this as well. So I'm tokenizing the opacity. Can apply as a token, create a token, and I'm going to call this as orange opacity. Yep, there we go. And then let me choose the computers, create a token, call this electricity opacity. So now what I can actually do is with the controls here, I'm going to do is during the normal one, which we have here, I'm going to remove the oranges. Let's put in here 0. Oh, sorry, not this one here. Let me just put it 0. So only these show up. And then for Chinese New Year, let me just remove the electricity stuff there. So now, like if you're using this animation over and over again, during Chinese New Year, you have this, and then let's say on your default, you can actually have this, and this can be changed in runtime by your developer, so that the developer, like let's say you just tell the developer like, hey, we have Christmas coming up. You can give him tell him that you already have the Christmas theme. So this already lives in one file. This is not multiple animation. This is just one animation. The developer can easily pick it up, and all he has to do is this change from Chinese New Year to Christmas. There's a Yeah, you can change like an attribute or prop. Easily done. So that again, you don't necessarily have to do the hard work. Like imagine someone like Google. Google uses over 100 buttons. Um, And the difficulty that we have, I mean, when we work with Google and a lot of animation community, is that Google doesn't have the time, even though they have a lot of engineers, they don't have the time to go to every single page and change that animation. So with something like this, they don't necessarily need to change the animation. All they have to do is just say, hey, this thing is coming up, just change the theme, change how the entire thing works with tokens. The designer has already defined it. It becomes easier for the dev. The devs just have to go in and just change that thing to from one team to the other, and that's it, all done. So this becomes easier for the handoff and systemizing everything. Now, we have this already done. Now, of course, the question we have is, how do I make this interactive? So let's make it interactive. Now, of course, we have on the state machine, we already kind of defined stuff. We already have like different things defined. Now, if I import this as a very ghostly in my head, that's true. Now, if I import this as a state machine from Figma, it might be a little bit different. So you would actually have it with state machines. The reason why I'm not showing right now is we do have a couple of bugs when imported directly from Figma to Lottie Creator. But what you can actually do now is you can just go here, segments, and we can actually add something where we call segments. One cool thing again, if you bring it from Figma, the cool thing is I don't necessarily have to worry about all these different things. So just come here, and I'm gonna maybe extend this a little bit just for today. Add this in. All right, there we go. So I know that at 36 frames, it's actually the idle segment, because one cool thing is in Figma, if you look at it, each frame is a keyframe. And I know that after the third one, it's it's the in the idle segment. And then I can do here is I can add one more segment, which up to 76, 77 maybe here, 37. Let's call this open. Now, of course, if I want Chinese New Year, there you go. Come back, can just change. And all right, now we need the last one, which is the close segment. This could be 260. This could be 177. Let's call this close. Oh, 166, sorry. All right, so now we have idle, box shaking, open. Just add a little bit more frames to that. It's better. All right, there we go. Box open. And then we have a closed segment, right? Now, if you are a product designer and if you are looking at segments, if you're getting scared, don't worry. One thing you can do is, so we have two AI tools which would really help you out. But if you want to also experiment with tokens in a different way, what you can actually do is you can go here, you can actually generate theme. Let's say just ask it to generate a C and white. Oh, wait. Hoodie theme, for example. I don't know how AI understands hoodie, but let's see. Oh, it did. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see the hoodie theme it created. All right, there we go. Add theme. Not much. Just a little bit similar. Probably AI doesn't understand hoodie much, but yeah, this is what it actually came up with. A little bit of same colors, but there's a little bit tiny difference. Yeah. All right. Questions are coming up. I'll answer that as soon as I'm done. Okay, let's make a Christmas theme. Probably AI doesn't understand hoodie yet. Even Christmas is pink. But anyways, I'm just gonna add that in. All right, there we go. So if I want to add interactions, right? And let's say, and that's why I said, like, if you are afraid, Halloween. Okay. This is what, yeah, thanks. There is not a limit of number of variants you can do. You can do as much variants as you want to. Like I said, you could have 20 different variants of your file. One cool thing is it doesn't make your animation file heavy. It still remains the same size. It's just that you have like a couple of kilobytes of different themes which you set it to, and I'll show you how it looks into handoff as well. Since there's a request for Halloween theme, right now it doesn't. Oh yeah, there you go. It's let me just add this to the theme. And yeah, there you go. This is how AI sees Halloween. But of course, we can change what's inside the box later. Coming back, state machine. You can actually do this as well. So if you want to see how your state machine looks like with different themes, you can do that as well. You can bring this menu, and then while you're kind of building it, you can actually see it on different colors. So like I said, if you are scared about, like, let's say you're for a designer, if you're scared, now one thing you can actually do here is you can connect all the states and you can start building your state machine. But if you want to not build it and just use AI, you can just use this button, and you can just say, hey, build me a state machine where it remains on idle while it's not clicked, and when it's clicked, it plays the open segment, and then after a little while plays the close segment on auto and goes back to idle. I haven't tried this prompt, but if you are scared of like learning inputs and interactions and you want a baseline to kind of get started with, you can actually use our AI tool, and then it would actually build in. Again, this is entirely free. You don't need credits for this. Yeah, there you go. And then what you can actually do is now you've kind of defined. Yeah, there you go. So you actually have this kind of done. And then you can actually just test with different themes, different colors in real time, and you can actually start building this as well. One cool thing is, again, of course, if you want to try it out, you can kind of go into state machine function. You can build this by yourself as well. Last time we did it, there was a lot of questions. We got a lot of good feedback from you guys. Some of you actually came on our community channel to actually give me some feedback. So what we thought was, okay, if people can't if it's hard to grasp, we'll build your AI tool. Now you have that as well. And what you can actually notice here is, well, you've done two things. You actually systemize the creation side. You actually systemize parts of the animation which you can actually change. You actually also systemize how the animation should behave. And now again, it's easier to, like, if you look at it from that design system perspective, you're actually you're kind of translating all of that into an animation, and then this actually becomes easier to scale, easier to use, and that would actually take it to the next level. Now, for a handoff side, so you can actually provide, so there are different what things you can actually do. You can actually export it. So I'm just gonna, let's say, call this animation test. I can actually export it. And once it's exported, so one thing that we are now allowing you to do is Lottie Creator is now free. You can actually export the file for free without actually adding to your workspace. There's one way you can actually do a handoff. You can actually just give the file anywhere that they want. .lottie, the .lottie would actually have the themes and the interactions. If you give a JSON, of course, it's a little bit different. JSON would be just with the playback animation. So you can just give this file. What they would actually need to do is very simple. So if you're using LottieFiles as a workspace, click the handoff, enable SHCDN. You can just host it from LottieFiles itself, paste it, and that's it. Done. It would actually carry on all the different things. If you want to change the like the theme and everything, you can actually just tell the dev to change the theme with the file itself. Theming can be done in a lot of different ways. You can even manipulate different themes which are already part of the animation. You can actually make it data binded as well to different interactions. So let's give a bit of example. Sorry, this is mine. So this is one thing you can do. So this is actually the entire box thing done. So imagine you have this entire thing. The text itself is tokenized as well. So let's say I want to have a different message here, like happy Halloween. I can just do that in real time. The dev doesn't need to necessarily do anything. This can be connected to different prompts that you're doing as well. So yeah, it's 12. Yeah, 12 o'clock. Yeah, it's true. I've been talking since yesterday. But anyways, um, you can even add here like happy memories, and all this would actually happen. So these are things that you can definitely tokenize. You can tokenize text, you can tokenize colors, other things that you can actually build with this once you kind of learn how to. Sorry, give me a second. There we go. Oh, never mind. I think this is it. Yeah, there you go. So there are other things you can also build if you start tokenizing. One thing is, of course, you can do with colors. The other thing is once you kind of tokenizing with like you can become a tokens master in like systemize everything, you can actually build in games as well. So this is actually a game our team actually built. I'm actually very bad with planets, as you can see. Um, yeah, my planet knowledge is very bad. This is something that we actually started building. So let's say you have a badge like Duolingo, and then you want it to keep leveling up. You can tokenize it, and then these numbers can actually change based on it goes like really high, really low, 1 million, 2 million. You can actually change it as well. This can be done with different colors. Systemizing can also allow you to build things like this as well. Let's say you want to build Need for Speed, and then you're kind of interested. You can actually do this as well using .lottie. But yeah, so many things you can actually do. You can even add sound to it as well, and you can start building things that you are really systemize. Are really cool. So that's pretty much it. I know it's a lot of information to kind of go through, so don't worry about that. But let me see. Yeah. So the AI tool that we were trying out is actually built me yeah bookmark as well. So if you can try out the bookmark, I mean the create MCP later if you're interested. If you want to learn more about it, you can join our Lottie community. But just to end, if you want to learn a little bit more about systemizing and like creating systemized animation, you can actually try our Lottie Creator course. It's actually out right now. You can actually learn how to build interactive animations. You can bind animation real time. All the different things that I talked about, which you might think it was really heavy, you can actually learn about it in using our Creator course. Let me actually leave a link to it in the chat. Oh, I can grab it from here. There we go. Yeah, and again, don't worry, it's entirely free. You don't need to pay anything just to do it. We have tons of other cool stuff here as well. If you want to come and try out, just feel free to join in and have fun with us, and do try out the creator course and learn a little bit more on systemization. But yeah, if I want to leave you guys with 3 things to take forward, today everybody's like, if you can see, we're like making motion functional for different occasions. Motion now needs to be scalable. It's not only about getting feedback. As you can see, you can build it for multiple things. So think about how that animation you add, not only just as something which is really cool, think at how it can create continuity as well, so it can be done in multiple places. And yeah, it's becoming that shared language that everybody's now kind of using. It's not only about how you add it in, and then on the homepage, and then it's like very cool about it, but it becoming a little bit more than that as well. So yeah, things to take forward. I hope you guys had fun. I know I talked a lot for 1 hour, but I hope you guys enjoyed the talk. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to join the chat. Yeah, that's it. That's my thing today.
Yeah, I think interesting questions from the chat. And chat, if you have any more questions, feel free to.
Oh, where can I find the questions? In the Q&A? Or
I think mostly people directly put it in the chat itself. So I think you have answered,
okay,
I
okay.
think, most of them. I think for the export thing, I think you mentioned either JSON or .lottie files works, right?
Yeah, so if you want to have interactivity, so JSON itself doesn't support interactivity, but Lottie does. So if you want to bring in interactivity tokens for systemization, you would probably download as a Lottie. You can host it on your own GitHub server and then use it as well. But if you want to get more services, host it on LottieFiles. Yeah, no funny thing intended, but yeah, host it on LottieFiles and get better services. Lotties.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think yeah, most questions have been answered. But folks, if you still have any questions after the webinar, or if you're interested in one of the other courses that Yamin mentioned, please feel free to reach out to him. And if you have any other questions, you can reach out to me as well. But yeah, before you guys leave, thank you for staying till the end. I know a lot of people sadly had to drop. I know it's dinner time, and I won't hold you more. I know folks are hungry. But yeah, please take a moment to fill in the feedback form. Kunal has sent it in the chat. It will only help us improve. I think through webinars, we are always able to reach a lot of folks. And the best part about webinars is that there's no boundaries. So anyone from anywhere in the world can join us. So I think that's it. I think we are, I think, before time. Uh,
Yeah.
it's cool. Thanks, Yamin, for all the insights you provided today. And I hope folks will carry it on, include
Yeah.
something, include a bit of motion and use Lottie and all the other things that Yamin just. But yes, do think at a scale, systemize your things. I think that's my biggest takeaway
Yeah.
from today.
Yeah, if you guys have more questions, again, feel free to reach out to me in the Lottie community. We have our entire team. Like, if you have trouble with implementing an animation, like if you want to find more resources, tips and tricks, we have a community of like around 20,000 active folks right now on that channel who are just sharing information every day. So just feel free. And if you have like any direct question, shoot me on LinkedIn as well. And I hope to finally come to Mumbai, hopefully this year, next year. That's the aim since 2 years back. But yeah,
Yeah, just don't come during the summers. That's all.
yeah, yeah,
Because that time is ending now. The rains will start in a bit, so it will be better time.
yeah. Hopefully.
Perfect. Thanks, Yamin, once again
All right.
for joining and for all the session. Thanks, folks, for tuning in till the end. We'll announce a few things soon on social, so keep following. And I'm quite excited for what's next. So thank you, and we'll see you soon. Bye.